What's going on, guys? Welcome to a new episode of ADT Fishing. Today I'm going to do something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time. It's actually going to be like a rod and reel buyer's guide type of thing. So the first thing is I want to talk about, I've got two rods here just to kind of show us the difference between some of the equipment that we're going to be using. This first rod combo right here, this is a Crankin rod and a Creus reel. And this one right here is an Anura rod and a Deluge reel. They're all from Sixgill. So a lot of times I see people on groups that I follow and pages that I follow that a lot of people just don't know. They want to buy a rod and reel combo, but they don't know what they need to buy. So there's a few things that you need to look at when you actually go out and you're looking to buy a rod. The first one that I want to look at is, what am I going to be throwing on that rod? So with these two rods and reels that I have right here, I've got two baits that are set up on them. The first one right here is a crankbait. This is a medium diving crankbait, and then I've got a topwater frog. I don't know if you guys can see them. I'll lift them up for you. So if I decide that I'm going to buy a rod for crankbaits or anything, obviously with a treble hook on it, the first thing I'm looking for is a rod that has a moderate fast action. So I want something that's slower. I don't want something with a fast action. Now, what you want to look at is the bend. So this right here is a very flimsy, if you want to call it, rod. It wiggles a lot. You know, it's not a stiff rod by any means. So that's something that you really want to look at when you are buying a rod and reel. So if I'm going to buy something that has treble hooks, you want that moderate fast action, something that's more bendy in that way. I mean, this one right here, this is going to be a little bit more bendy than some of the other rods that I have that are moderate fast action. Meanwhile, if I were to buy like a medium heavy rod, it's not going to be as, wiggly as this one here because of the because the rod itself, because it's not made like that. It's made to be like a heavier rod, so of course it's not going to be so flimsy. But the main thing with the modern fast action rod is that when you set the hook on this, you don't need to, crazily set it. You don't need to yank it out of there like you're fishing with a jig or something. When you're fishing with a crankbait, you're just kind of leaning into it a little bit. So it's not, you don't need that heavy or that fast action tip, because that's all we're really talking about here is the top part. You want this to be a lot slower so that it loads up when you set the hook on these fish. Because you've got the treble hooks, you don't need this backbone, you don't need this, heavy or this fast action tip that's going to just, pull this fish out. And the main reason for those fast action tips is because you have to get that big 3-aught to 4-aught hook through that fish's lip. So, I mean, of course, you can go with whatever speed rod or action rod that you really want to go with. It's up to your personal preference. However, this is just kind of something that I know the vast majority of a lot of fishermen use. They want something, like I said, for these treble hooks. They need something that's going to be the moderate fast action. They want something like, for instance, with this crankbait, you want something medium. But again, it's all up to you. If you want to go out and you want to fish with an extra heavy rod for a crankbait, by all means, go for it. I just think that using this setup right here will maximize your experience and how much fish you catch. But so as far as the rod goes, like I said, if you're looking to buy anything with treble hooks, the main thing is that you want to look at the action. You're not looking at necessarily how heavy the rod is right now. You're mainly just looking at the action of the tip. So to move on to the reel for this setup, we've got the Creus here. This reel right here is a 6:3-to-1 gear ratio. You want to look at the gear ratios before you buy anything, just because the action of the bait that you're going to be using is going to vary depending on the reel. Because if you're just throwing out a crankbait and you're just straight retrieving it, if you've got something like a 7:1-to-1 gear ratio, there's a good chance that crankbait might never hit the bottom of the water, because you've got a certain distance from your cast, from that lure to get back to your boat, or if you're on the shore, to get back to shore. So if you're using a fast ratio, it's never going to hit the bottom. It's just going to go right back to you. So you need to maximize the fishable area that you actually have this lure in. So having something slower, like I use on my medium diving crankbaits, a 6.3 to 1. On my deep diving crankbaits, I use a 5.3 to 1. I use something that's a little bit slower. Same thing with my swim baits. I also use that slower gear ratio, just to keep that action, just to keep that bait in biting range for longer. So that's pretty much all I've got for the crankbait setup. Let's move on to my frog setup. Now, just about anything that you're going to be throwing that has like a single hook or a really heavy hook, like a frog or a jig or anything like that, even your finesse rigs, you want something that's going to have a fast tip, because you're going to need to set that hook to drive that hook through that lip. And it's not going to be just like treble hooks. Treble hooks, you've got those 3 hooks that are, they're very sticky, they're very sharp. They will pull through something with less effort. With this, you really need to drive the hooks at home. So with my frog rod, I've got the Anura. This one here is a extra heavy action, I'm pretty sure. Nope, this one's just a heavy powered. So this one here is heavy. That is, we're not talking about the tip of that, we're talking about the rod as a whole. The backbone of the rod all the way up to the tip. As you can see, this one doesn't wiggle around as much. It's more of a stout rod. Because you need that if you're fishing with frogs, you need that to get through the cover. So anything that you want to go out and single hook and you're fishing through like lily pads or a lot of grass or something like that, you need to be able to pull not just that lure, that fish, through those weeds. You need to be able to pull all of this weight that's going to be coming along with it, because if you get a big clump of lily pads that get stuck on that fish, that could add a bunch of weight on it. But again, you could use something that has a moderate fast action tip. You don't need to use the fast action tip that I'm recommending. It's all up to your personal preference, and you just use whatever you got to use. That's fine. But what I've figured out is that anything, like I said, with that heavy hook or with a single hook, you're going to want something that you're going to be able to drive home that fish. So you're going to need that fast action tip. And something with some backbone to be able to get the fish back to the boat or back to the shore. So going into the reels, the action that you have on stuff like jigs, frogs, you're not really using the reel for your action. The action of the bait is not really going to be used by that reel. The action of the bait is going to be determined by the rod. So if you're frog fishing, you're kind of tipping it down to bounce the frog off the top, or you're walking the dog, that's not really the reel being used there, that's the rod. So with the rod, you don't need something as slow as like a 6.3 to 1 or a 5.3 to 1. With the reel, you want something that's going to be fast. You need to get that, the point of the reel is to, once you set that hook, you need to bring that fish back to the boat. So I use on my frogs, my jigs and all that stuff, at least a 7 to 1 gear ratio. I'm looking into possibly getting into something 8 to 1s, but right now I've got all the reels and rods I need for right now. So I'm using my 7 to 1 gear ratio, or in this case it's a 7.0 to 1. You just want something faster. So I hope I answered any questions that you guys might have when you're going out to buy rods and reels. I will include a little chart that can kind of help you guys. The one that I use, it is through 6Skills, so basically just, you have to look at the equipment that they're using, and if it says you're using something like a Crankin or an Acula, something that's that moderate fast action, just know that if you're going to switch it over to another brand or something else, that you're also using moderate fast action, if that's what you want to do, if you want to go based off of that list. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely like it. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you liked, let me know what you didn't like, and definitely subscribe and hit that bell button so that you can get a little notification every time that I post a video. Other than that, guys, have a great day.